Hey everyone, this is Bob here in the Nerve Center at the Wirefly campus with a cell phone schmackdown with two of the biggest heavyweights in the industry. At the moment, I'm aware of only 4 phones that hold the mantle of 4G, and right before you here are 2 of them. On the left is the Sprint EVO 4G, obviously on the Sprint network, and on the right is the T-Mobile myTouch 4G, obviously on the T-Mobile network. Interesting thing about both of these phones is that they are both made by HTC. Here we got an HTC there, and we got an HTC there. So both of these are made by HTC, so you might think that they are kissing cousins. And there are many similarities between the two. They are both running Android 2.2. So that's the latest version of Android, because as I say this, version 2.3 hasn't come out yet. So that's an even round in this fight. The EVO has, as you can see when I push these two guys together, the EVO has a much bigger screen. This is a 4.3-inch diagonal screen, while the myTouch 4G has a 3.8-inch screen. Now, compared to almost any other phone, the 3.8-inch would come out on top. But the EVO is the 800-pound gorilla of the screen on cell phone business here. This is just a monster, and it's a very nice screen. Both are very nice screens, but if you need a big screen, the EVO comes out the winner. Both of these screens have resolution of 480 by 800 pixels. So from a resolution standpoint, they're the same. They are both very nice LCD screens. Personally, I like the bigger screen. You may not find that the bigger screen is right for you. You may think that the 4.3-inch screen means a bigger phone, but take a look at this. The myTouch 4G is about the same length as the EVO, and it is only about an 1/8 of an inch narrower, just a couple of millimeters narrower, 1/8 of an inch or so. So although the EVO has a much bigger screen, it's not really in a much bigger case. The EVO has a very iPhone-like white back that's very tapered, and to be honest with you, I find that it slips out of my hand all too easily. It just it feels good in the hand, but it doesn't really seem to stick in the hand very well. So if you're the kind of person that tends to drop a phone, the myTouch 4G might be a little bit more likely to stay put without falling out of your fingers. As far as the thickness of these two phones, they are both about the same, as you can see there. So really, there's just a very minor difference size-wise in favor of the myTouch 4G with respect to if you like carrying a smaller phone. So don't think that the big screen means that the phone is huge. Okay, a few other things about these two phones. They both have 1 gigahertz processors, so they both have very fast processors. However, the myTouch 4G comes with 768 megabytes of RAM versus 512 megabytes of RAM for the EVO. Now, that means that the myTouch, in addition to its 1 gigahertz processor, has more elbow room for the processor to work. So that's going to make it faster. I'm going to do a quadrant test a little later in this Schmackdown so that you can get some idea of just how fast the myTouch 4G is. Now, the EVO is no slouch, but it is not nearly as fast as the myTouch 4G. So the myTouch 4G wins that round. Both of these cameras, both of these phones have front-facing cameras as well as, of course, rear-facing cameras. That means both of them can do video chat. So if you like to do video chat, or if you like the idea of video chat, both of these phones are the phones for you. In fact, as far as I know, they're the only phones out there that can do video chat, and they can do it over a network without having to do it over Wi-Fi. So other phones like the iPhone can do video chat, but it has to do it over Wi-Fi. However, there's some differences between the cameras here. Notice that they both have a camera lens, but the myTouch is a 5 megapixel camera and the EVO is an 8 megapixel camera. The myTouch has a single LED flash, the EVO has a 2 LED flash. So that probably doesn't make a big difference, but 5 to 8 megapixels is a big difference. Both of these, by the way, can do 720p HD video. So they both do the same sort of quality on video. And as we're looking at the back of this, you can see that there's this silver thing on the EVO. That is its famous kickstand. It extends from the phone so that you can put the phone on a surface, and now it's great if you want to watch a video, a TV show, a YouTube video, or if you want to do video chat, the phone is now in the proper orientation for you to go ahead and do video chat. So it's a very cool feature, is the kickstand on the EVO. So I guess this round is going to go to the EVO 4G over the T-Mobile. Higher resolution camera and the kickstand. I want to take a peek at what's inside these phones. I want to show you. Before I do that, there's something else that I want to talk about. Both of these are very cool phones with lots and lots of apps. They have full access to the Android marketplace. As you can see, I've loaded Quadrant over here on the EVO. And so we have access to the Android marketplace, and we can go ahead and get anything we want there. Of course, you can get on the internet with these. You can get your email. You've got plenty of room here on various pages on both phones to install all the applications that you might want. So let's move on. They're about dead even with that, so they are both good. Now, when I pop the cover off of the EVO, you got a large battery. This is a 1500 milliamp hour battery versus a 1400 milliamp hour battery that's in the myTouch 4G. Now, right there is the SIM card in the myTouch 4G. The EVO is on Sprint. Sprint doesn't use SIM cards. But if you look over here, this is the micro SD card. This comes with an 8 gigabyte micro SD card. Internally in the EVO is 4 gig of internal onboard storage plus an 8 gig SD card that it comes with out of the box. The EVO has only 1 gigabytes of onboard storage, and it comes with an 8 gig SD card. However, that 8 gig SD card is underneath the battery, and you have to lift up this little catch to get the card out of there. It's very much not an easy thing to get the card out of the EVO. Of course, you can upgrade either of these phones up to 32 gigabyte SD cards, but the myTouch 4G has an out-of-the-box advantage, so it wins the memory round against the EVO 4G. There's more memory in the myTouch 4G than the EVO 4G has. So that round goes to the myTouch 4G. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the covers back on, and I want to talk about the internet speeds of these two phones. These two phones, as you know, are both 4G phones, and they're among the very few 4G phones that are out there. I have tested them extensively. Unfortunately, I can't test them easily here. I get 4G on the Sprint here in the office, but I do not get 4G on the myTouch 4G here in the office. I get 4G at home with the myTouch, but I don't get 4G at home with the EVO. So doing an internet speed test really depends on your location. It depends on the time of day, how stressed the networks are, and there's many factors that come into play, how strong your signal is. So I can't easily demonstrate them for you. I will say that after several tests that I performed with the EVO, that I got internet download speeds fairly consistently in the 6 to 6.5 megabit per second range, which I think is excellent. So this has given me scores 6 to 6.5 megabits. With the myTouch 4G, I've done several tests with it, and I've consistently gotten speeds from 5 to 5.5 megabits. So that sounds like there's a big difference of 1 megabit, but the fact is that that testing doesn't really have a lot of value. Both of these are very fast phones, and I consider them to be, as far as I'm concerned, about equal in the download speed test department. Okay, a couple of other things about these phones before we get on to the Quadrant test. The EVO comes with a built-in HDMI port. Now, HDMI is a interface that allows you to feed the signal to a computer monitor or to a big screen TV monitor. So if you have the right cable, you can plug it in here and feed HD video out of the EVO into your TV and see beautiful, unprocessed HD video. The myTouch 4G doesn't have that benefit, but it does have just the right time to turn itself off there. It does have a docking port on the side. These 3 dots here will make connection when you drop the myTouch 4G into a docking port, and that docking port will give you access to the data. It'll also recharge the phone. All right, Quadrant is loaded on both of these phones, and now I'm going to go ahead and touch them at the same time. Now, I'm not going to try to do a head-to-head speed. I mean, they're not going to be doing Quadrant at the same time. They will be, but that's not what I'm testing. What I'm looking for is the score at the end of the test. But I'm going to go ahead and press them at the same time, and we'll watch this for a few seconds and see how it goes. Looks like this didn't do anything, so here we go. And they're both off. Okay, now this is going to run the test. I'm going to come back after the test and we'll see how it went, see which one got which score. Okay, the test is about ready to wrap up, especially on the myTouch 4G. It did in fact wrap up. And if you can see that, it's kind of very small print, but this says that this scored a 1,940 on the quantum test. That is the Quadrant test. That is an outstanding score, completely outstanding. And the EVO 4G got a score of 1,140. I've seen it score a little bit higher than that, but not in any case higher than 1,200 or so. So the two phones both have very good Quadrant scores. The EVO got 1140, and the myTouch 4G is just about off the charts at 1,940. So if you need a fast phone that really can do everything you want it to do, is highly beneficial for doing graphics and running games, the myTouch 4G is the phone that you want. It has many of the features that the EVO has. It can do 4G data internet speeds. It's a little smaller, a little easier to fit into your pocket, just a smidgen in that regard. If you need the big, beautiful screen, the EVO 4G has fast internet speeds, and it gets a very highly respectable Quadrant speed score for the phone itself. They both have many excellent features. The EVO's got a little better camera than the myTouch 4G does. The EVO's got a little bit bigger battery, but it has a larger screen that probably uses up the battery a little faster. They both have many, many fine features, and they both are on fast 4G networks. So this, I would say, is a draw when it comes to the Schmackdown. For me personally, I like the little bit bigger screen than the myTouch 4G has, but I would be very, very happy with either of these phones in my pocket. My phone, the phone that I carry around, is not nearly as good as these two guys. So hey, this is Bob here at Wirefly at the end of a Schmackdown. Thank you all for watching.